if they could spend the night and be fed, and the monk said, of course. They asked the abbot, the head guy, what should we do for these soldiers? And he said, we're going to feed them, just as we eat, give them the same food we would eat. They'll sleep in the cells and the rooms that we sleep in, and we're going to treat them like they're monks. And the captain of the army said, well, this is ridiculous. I mean, we're soldiers. We're fighting for the countryside. You guys shouldn't treat us this way. But the abbot responded, and he said, what do you think we are? We're soldiers too, but we're not fighting for a country. We're fighting for every living person on the planet. That's what a monk is. That's what a spiritual warrior is. That's kind of what a Jedi is in the Star Wars universe. So we're going to meet the Jedi. One of the distinctive features of Jedi is they have these weapons called lightsabers, like these little swords. And then we have a little video about their swords. And I wanted to, if Mike could play that, and then we'll talk about what that might mean for us in our faith.
Turn it up.
This content is your life. Whether it was a Jedi, civilized thing.
You sat down in the dark path forever, and you think your destiny consume you at will. You want to British.
I was once a Jedi knight who said his father. Wish him young. He was a good friend. Your father wanted you to have this, but he was not. A Jedi can feel the Force flowing through.
Jedi strength flows from the Force, but the game of the dark side and the real aggression. The dark side of the Force.
Where'd you get that?
Good question for another time. That lightsaber was Luke's, and his father's before him. And now, it calls to you.
That lightsaber, it belongs to me.
Okay, so if you've never seen Star Wars before, you kind of get the idea is that there are these guys, they have swords, they're really attached to them. They use them all the time. They use them to fight evil, they use them to, open their soup cans, they use them all the time. And in our faith, there is actually a similar device. This is a prayer rope. And this is what's in my other pocket? This is a prayer rope too. And Jedis have lightsabers, and they're different colors. Sometimes they're different lengths. You saw that Darth Maul had a double-sided one. This one's 50 knots. This one's 33 knots. And also, prayer ropes are something that get passed on. So at the end of the video, it said this lightsaber belonged to Luke and his father before him, and now it's choosing you. Like this prayer rope actually belonged to my mother before it belonged to me. So sometimes they're passed down in that way. And when a monk is tonsured in our faith, he's given a prayer rope. But what many people don't know is what the abbot says to him is, receive your sword. Receive your sword. And this is, you don't whack people with these, but you pray for people with them. And actually, I asked a father from Mount Athos once, how do you pray for someone with your kombuskini? How do you use your lightsaber? And he said, if I wanted to pray for Michael, I would start and I would say, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner, through the prayers of your servant Michael. And then I would go through, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner, all the way around. And at the last knot, when I get back to the cross, I would say, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner, through the prayers of your servant Michael. And the Lord would hear that, and he would respond to that by blessing me, and then in a particular way, blessing Michael as well. And so that's how, in our faith, we use our lightsabers. In Romans, I think 12:13, St. Paul talks about putting on the armor of light. But really, in Greek, the word isn't armor, it's opla, which means weapons of light. So lightsabers are really a thing. Another point I wanted to emphasize to you guys was that in the Jedi way, in the movies, the Jedi are very meek people. They're very peaceful. They do not respond to aggression. I want to tell you guys a story. There's a video game I played when I was a kid called Mysteries of the Sith, where you are a Jedi Knight, you have a lightsaber, you're fighting bad guys and whatnot. You get to the last boss, the final fight in the video game. It is your old master, Kyle Katarn, who has turned to the dark side. He has unlimited health points. So no matter how many times you whack him with your sword, he does not get weaker. He has unlimited force energy. So if I were to shoot a lightning bolt out of my hand, it costs me points. It doesn't cost him anything. He can just do that all day. How do you defeat an enemy who has unlimited health points and unlimited force powers in the Jedi world? And this is really true. This made an impression on me when I was a kid. The only way to win the fight was actually to put your sword away and to turn the other cheek and let him defeat you. When you did that, it activated a victory sequence where you won the game. And, the Lord tells us, don't resist an evildoer, turn the other cheek. And when I was a teenager, I saw that in my life, and it was like I would have never thought to have done that. And of course, that's just a video game, and the Star Wars movies are just for kids, right? We could never really find a situation where forgiving someone, where turning the other cheek would actually lead to victory, right? Well, Michael, could you play the next video, please?
On November 5th, 2003, all doubt of Ridgway's guilt was erased. He pleaded guilty to the murders of 48 women. He made a deal to cooperate with the prosecution to provide more information on his victims and the whereabouts of their remains. In doing so, he avoided a trial and possible death penalty.
Mr. Ridgway, how do you plead to the charge of aggravated murder in the first degree as charged in count 1 for the death of Wendy Lee Coffey?
Guilty.
How do you plead to the charge of aggravated murder in the first degree as charged in count 2?
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
It's like he didn't have any remorse at all for what he had done. He killed so many people, he didn't remember who they were, what they looked like. I just couldn't believe that somebody could kill all those people and not remember them.
Neither could the angry relatives of his victims, who were invited to speak in court when Ridgway was sentenced to life without parole on December 18, 2003.
You had said your memory, when it comes to all of the women you took, was gone. Our memory is not. In your words, you said that they didn't mean anything to you, but she meant everything to us.
She was a mother, she was a wife, she was a sister, and we miss her.
Gary Ridgway sat there stone-faced as victims' relatives damned him and mocked him.
He's an animal. I wish for him to have a long, suffering, cruel death.
He's gonna go to hell, and that's where he belongs.
But then the emotionless facade finally cracked when the father of one of his victims appeared to surprise him with a dose of human kindness.
Mr. Ridgway, there are people here that hate you. I'm not one of them. You made it difficult to live up to what I believe, and it is what God says to do, and that's to forgive. You are forgiven, sir.
It's an unbelievable movie, and it's true. It's true. And you know, like the superhero stories like Spider-Man or like the Jedi Knights we're talking about, they're that's when people, when they think of what's superhuman, they think of these cartoon characters, right? But the truth is, I think what we just saw, that was what's real superhumanity looks like. The man lost his daughter, and he forgave Mr. Ridgway. I mean, like he said, you've made it hard for me to practice what I believe, but he activated the victory sequence. It's an amazing story. Another thing I wanted to share with you guys was that in the cartoons, in the movies or whatever, Jedi have amazing abilities. They can do things that other people can't. And the last video is a clip of one of the Jedi Masters, Yoda, demonstrating to Luke that there's more to the world than just the five senses, and there's more to the world than just what we typically think of. Oh, did you pause it? I have to give you. I forgot. I have to tell you what's happening. Luke. That's Luke Skywalker. He's the main character. His ship has fallen into a swamp, and he does not know how he's going to get it out. And Yoda tells him, "Why don't you use the Force? Use your spiritual connection to get it out." And he says, "Well," he tries to lift it, but it's too big. I mean, that's the power of I guess their version of prayer. It's not. It can't really be that powerful. Prayer cannot really be that powerful in the film universe. So.
It's too big.
Size matters not. Look at me. Judge me by my size, do you? And where you should not. For my eye is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us, enlightens us. Luminous beams shall be, not this fruit matter. You must feel the Force around you. You, between you, me, between. Love, everywhere. Yes. Even between you and ship.
You are the impossible.
So in the book Gospel, the Lord says, if you have faith, the grain of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, get up and move, and it will move. And in some way, I think the scene alludes to that. Luke wants to use his spiritual connection to, get a ship out of the swamp, but he can't do it. And when Yoda's able to, I don't know if you could make out what he says at the end, but he says, Luke's like, I can't believe it. And Master Yoda replies, that is why you failed. And I wanted to share another story related to that. This was in the Orthodox Observer, actually, a couple years ago. It's about a priest named Father George Poulos. This is his account. In 1954, he was serving the parish in Norwich, Connecticut, when he received a terrible phone call. A young couple called him to tell Father George that their 4-year-old son, was extremely ill. There was some kind of problem with his brain. He had suffered from a number of seizures. He was comatose, and he was not expected to last the night. Father George also talked to the young boy's doctor, and he confirmed the seriousness of the situation. It was hopeless. It was hopeless. The boy was going to die. So Father George drove to the hospital to administer Holy Communion for the last time, but as he walked into the hospital, something strange and something unexpected happened to him. He felt, I want to use his own words, a feeling of total and complete calm just washed over him. It was a very strange feeling. And he looked around in the room and he saw the fear and agony that the parents were in, the friends of the family were in, and none of that bothered him. He felt completely serene, completely above everything. The boy remained comatose with an oxygen tent, and his mouth was clamped shut because he was in a coma. So they weren't able to feed him or to give him water because his jaw, they could not pry it open. Father George was not bothered by any of this. He put on his vestments and he prepared communion, and he walked up to the young boy and he said, Costa, anikse to stomasu, which means Costa, open your mouth. And something very unexpected happened. The nurse who was watching all this fainted because she could not believe that the comatose young boy, Costa, responded to Father George's command and opened his mouth. Father George gave the boy Holy Communion, started to put his things away, and he walked out of the hospital. Again, he had this feeling that he'd never felt before, of total calm, total sereneness, total peace with God. And he said that he walked out of the hospital and he walked into the parking lot, and the cold air hit him. So you leave the building, the cold air hits you. And he said when the cold air hit him, that's when he went back to normal. And he's like, what just happened? What just happened? The little Costa, the little 4-year-old boy, not only survived the night, he survives to this day. He never had another episode of seizures or anything else related to brain malfunction. When Father George wrote his column in The Observer, it was in June of 2014. Maybe some of you guys saw it, I'm not sure. But he said in his story, he goes, I don't like to tell this story very often because he's a humble man, he's a modest man. But on occasion, he feels called to share it because people need to know that our faith is real. They need to know. And he was given the gift of this experience, and he shared it with us. And amazing things happen in our faith all the time. Our faith is alive. Our church is alive, and it's all true. I don't have a clip of this from the newest, one of the newer Star Wars movies, but in the film, people forget about the Jedi and they think that they're a myth. And Han Solo, one of the characters who's not a Jedi but is friends with Luke Skywalker, they ask him about the old times. I heard all these stories about, these things these Jedi did, kind of like, when you're reading the Bible, you hear about these miracles. And Han Solo says, I used to not believe myself, but I have to tell you guys, people who weren't there for this, it's all true. Everything. The Jedi, the Force, and in the comic books, the Jedi, the Force, it's all true. And in our faith,
the Lord's life, the places he lived in Jerusalem, the things he did, the things the apostles did. The church tells us that it's all true, and it's still happening today. And there are superheroes amongst us. They're real. They're real, and they're called saints. So that was my little talk for tonight.